1, 2, 3.
Hit the button. Ah!
Albums still matter. Like
They
books
do,
and
Auggie.
Black Lives, albums still matter. Tonight and always.
Once upon a time, these two had radio shows until they were laid off at no fault of their
At
own.
no fault of our own.
That's
None
what they
whatsoever.
all say. It's the Link Up Listening Party with Auggie and Jordan.
Can we emphasize the fact
Yo, yo, yo,
that
yo, yo.
we worked really hard? Okay, I just want to put that out there. We really did our thing, and there was no fault of our own. The testament is real. We were good at our jobs. You still are good.
I mean, whatever. It
Actually-
happened. We got the severance.
That little thing is outdated, I should say, because you have a radio show again, and you've had a radio show for quite a while now. We need to get rid of
That's true. Yeah, you're right. Maybe. Yeah, but we paid $10 for it for all that imaging. So I think we should use let's just keep using them. You know, and we were laid off at no fault of our own. So it's
True.
stands.
Okay. Well, cheers to the Australian man. Does he have a name, by the way? Can we shout him out?
Oh man, that's deep in my Fiverr account, and I don't have the app installed right now. But shout out to that Australian radio. He's on. I think he's on Triple J or something. No, he's on Triple J. He wouldn't be doing $10 imaging if he was on Triple J. He'd be charging like 300.
Well, cheers
But,
to Australian Fiverr man. We appreciate you. The voiceover is great. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Welcome to the Link Up Listening Party. It's the podcast where we connect two sonically different albums by the themes and threads they share. And today we got a doozy.
And are
The
they
connection
different?
Oh my God. This is a very stark difference. I'm very excited. Today's theme, would you say it's puppetry? Puppetry terminology?
Yeah, it's maybe it's cutting the strings. Maybe I think.
Ooh.
I think it's
I
cutting.
like it.
I think it's cutting the strings. At least knowing that you're a puppet, and that might be the theme here.
So Auggie picked Metallica's 1986 classic, Master of Puppets. I picked NSYNC's
No strings attached.
No Strings Attached. I was gonna say, was this their critical mass? But they were always growing. This was like the album for NSYNC was No Strings Attached. That was the top is off, the lid's off. The lid's been blown off. My metaphor game is not strong today.
Hey man,
But
listen, it doesn't get any bigger than Bye Bye Bye. It really doesn't. In pop music, when you have a single that's massive, and then you have a Diamond Plus selling album,
Yeah.
that is the apex of boy bandom.
It's absolutely wild. I'm very excited for our guest today, DJ Chris Cruz, the host of Throwback 2K. That's a nationally syndicated radio program. It's America's first weekly show highlighting the first hits of the new millennium with 5 hours weekly of big 2K throwbacks. This man is an authority on what we need to discuss today.
Oh yeah, definitely. We're gonna call him the boy band authority. And this album that you covered led us into the new millennium in a very great way. And gave us
Come on, let's be real.
I mean, we're talking about pop music. I don't know. I have my takes on how I felt about the album at the time. I'll save those. But looking at this from 2021 eyes and a guy who's more mature, yeah, that set the tone for a lot of stuff.
Nah, dude. Pop music, I'm not going to say my takes. Pop music was so garbage at this time. Pop music nowadays is so sick. There's a lot of great, amazing, thoroughbred pop artists. This album is rot with appropriation and just bad musical ideas, dude. I can't handle it. I cannot handle how shameless and uncreative this album is. Do I have respect for it? I guess. Do I understand its legacy? Sure. Is it good? No. And I don't think anyone thinks it's good, but I think we all have this really visceral reaction to it.
Yeah, I think the people that honest to God think it's good are people that have emotional ties to it, like nostalgia ties. My wife, for one, I put this album on in the car and she's like, "Oh my God, this was my album. Oh my God." And yeah, this was for her, people like her.
So I can't hate because if art brings something out of you, it's good art, right? Especially that type of music can be a time machine. We talked about this with Daft Punk. I want to ask you, Auggie, what's one album you love? I reject the guilty pleasure notion. Oh, Chris Cruz is here. Chris Cruz is here. Right to start off. Let's go.
Gentlemen, how are you?
DJ Chris Cruz. We just introduced you. You are here early, and we're very excited about that.
Yeah, daylight saving time's really hard. I keep forgetting that that's a thing we do in Michigan.
Yeah, no,
we should never do it anywhere.
Yeah, I thought it was Tuesday all day today. I don't know what my problem is.
We're happy
Chris,
to have you on.
Thank you.
I got to comment. Your processing is massive, and I'm a fan.
Thank you very much. I get it from my mama.
So, Chris, you joined at a great time. We are discussing NSYNC's No Strings Attached and whether or not it's actually a good album. I am hating on it, but I'm respecting the legacy. Where do you stand on whether or not this is a artistic feat?
Of course it's a good album. What are you talking about?
I was thinking about how the growth of pop music and how good pop is now. Maybe because maybe I am thinking too much about the production, and like it seems really like a shell. It's shallow. The low end doesn't really exist. Whereas nowadays we have these really fully produced and developed sounds, and it seems very dated. So I have a hard time with the dated nature. But again, not everything is for everyone. Maybe that's the issue.
I mean, I've always liked the production of pop music because it's very like aurally pleasing. You know what I mean? It's nice to listen to. It tickles your ears if it's the right kind of music. Mm-hmm. So that being said, I do think like the dirty pop era was a little bit more of the production style I like. It was big, it was thick, a little over the top.
Yeah.
But like if you put on Bye 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 or It's Gonna Be Me, like with a decent pair of headphones on or monitors, like they still slap so hard, dude.
Okay. Yeah. Well, dirty pop, Celebrity, phenomenal jam. But we're not. What was that album? Was that Celebrity? Was the name of the album? Yeah, that is. See, there we go. That's NSYNC going super rogue and really exploring the space of which they're in. Should we get into our synopsis?
Yes.
Should we do NSYNC or Metallica first? Chris, did you get a chance to listen to Master of Puppets? Did you run through it?
Oh, you think I need to?
Probably.
Dude, I grew up a Metallica, dude.
Okay, fair enough.
Like all these guitars in here, everyone's like, why do you have guitars? Like as a kid, I wanted to be James Hetfield. Playing. It's interesting because so I just got a PS5. It's funny you mentioned Master of Puppets, and I got the Sony Pulse headphones with them, right? The PS5 headphones. Yep. And I'm playing Call of Duty. I'm like, God, this sounds so thick and like terrible. It's like boom, real rumble on the bottom end. So I go on Spotify. I'm like, okay, what's the one album I know the sound to? Master of Puppets. So I put it on. I tweak the headphones. I go, okay, now they sound right because I know that album front to back, like how the tone, just the thickness, but it's still tight. Like that's a perfect album to me. It really is perfect.
It is. We'll talk about the similarities between these two albums, but I think you're hitting on something that binds these albums together. Besides the puppetry imaging. So here's the agenda, Chris. We're gonna do a synopsis. We're gonna briefly summarize we're gonna put ourselves in the time of these albums. Get into 5 fun facts about the records. The gateway drug. Auggie, I didn't do One's Gotta Go for you this week, so we'll just do a One's Gotta Go for NSYNC, and I'm sorry.
Okay, that's fine.
And then we'll get into the link up game, of which you are the judge, Chris.
Great. I'm very judgy. This is perfect.
I know. You're a man of opinion. Let's go.
Big time.
We'll start off with No Strings Attached. Yeah.
You're also the sentencer, so whoever loses gets a penalty, and it's up to you to decide what the penalty is. So.
Yes.
Well, this is going to be very rated R real quick, guys. So strap in.
Go. I'm ready. All right. We'll jump in with No Strings Attached, shall we, boys? No Strings Attached is the third studio album from NSYNC, released on May 21st, 2001. It's considered the pinnacle of the boy band teen pop genre, while also being a sonic step forward for the band. They abandoned their previous soft pop style to get a little bit more aggressive. This was a deliberate choice to differentiate themselves from Backstreet Boys. At the time, the narrative was that NSYNC was just a BSB clone band. All right. Billboard magazine described the sound of No Strings Attached as a millennial interpretation of New Jack Swing. Do we know what that means? Can you place what that sounds like?
Yeah, very much so. Belle Biv DeVoe, Bobby Brown, Boys to Men, all that stuff.
Okay, I read that sentence and I had a hard time. Like, what's New Jack Swing? Because I know that 90s R&B pop sound, but I didn't know that's what it was called.
It's very much like the Boys to Men upbeat stuff was New Jack Swing.
Okay,
yeah,
dope.
I'll go a little hot take-ish here. Any R&B that's post like 96, 97 is New Jack Swing.
Right.
Okay.
Because it's based in hip hop, and I think that's really what New Jack Swing is. That's the heart of it.
I will defer to Auggie, who I know is like the hip hop master, so I have no rebuttal.
I feel it. Cool. My age is showing here. It's like, oh, look at you, you little 90s kid. You don't know what New Jack Swing is.
I'm only 27. That's the weird part.
Really? I'm
No.
older than you.
No, I'm not.
Okay. You look youthful. Your
I bought it. I was there. I was like,
yeah, you.
okay.
I was like, oh shit. Drop the skincare routine, Chris.
Yeah, I got a baby face, man. It's a curse.
I love it. This album was also heavily inspired by TLC and Destiny's Child. I can hear that influence big time on these records. JC Chazé also compared the album to Michael Jackson's entire discography. Is that valid? Just because it's pop, do we think that stands?
No.
Yeah. No. JC was always kind of like, okay, dude, calm down. I think this.
I like JC Chazé and I like this album, but that's a stretch. Even, and I love NSYNC too, but that wouldn't put them in the same sentence as Michael Jackson, bro.
Just because they tried to do like their best. I don't think it was like an influence. It was definitely like an interpretation. Like they have something like that. Like they're trying to do that.
Yeah, I mean that like the rhythmic part and like the percussion. Some of it does sound like Michael Jackson. I will give them trying to go for that sound 100%.
I think given the commercial success, I guess he kind of called his shot there. The more I talk about it, the more I'm like, oh dang it, JC was right. Damn it.
Yo,
let's get into
on another note. I just have to say that I always a learning experience doing this podcast. I just learned that you pronounce his name Chazé.
Do you think it was Chazé?
Chazé? I had no idea.
Whatever.
Now you guys remember his song "Blowing Up with Her Love"? Do you remember that song?
Is it the one that was produced by Pharrell? Right?
It was not good. Oh man, it was caca. It was not good at all. I wanted it to be because I like him, but it was.
I remember the beat being kind of tight, but I remember I don't know if it was Pharrell production.
Yeah,
but
I love the Jordan Knight song that he did, where they're shooting at like the circus and the fair. I really like that one. Is "Give It to You," right? But the JC Chazé one was like he was trying to do a Justin Timberlake thing. It just kind of didn't pan out for him, you know.
Yeah. It's a damn shame. That's
JC. Do you?
He strikes me as like the ego guy in the group. Well, actually, with what we learned about JT recently, maybe he's the ego guy.
Right.
But JC is like, you're a douche. Whatever. Let's get into the critical acclaim of this record. Critics also noted that this album is a stark departure from the band's previous puppy love content matter. Right? They're kind of like, oh, I love you. Let's go to on a date. This is like, let's frick. NSYNC chose to go a much hornier route this time around, and people loved it. It sold 2.4 million copies its first week. The singles from this record were Bye Bye Bye, I'll Never Stop, It's Gonna Be Me, and This I Promise You. Good single distribution from this record.
Yeah, This I Promise You is it's still great at weddings, man. Still a great song.
I've never played it at a wedding, but that's because I'm too busy. Like, hey, let's play TikTok now. Get right into Kesha.
Totally.
What's up, Auggie?
I got to give you the Steve Rogers language, Jordan. Come on, frick. That's a little too much.
It's too much. I shouldn't say frick. I'm not trying to. We're like 10 minutes in. I'm not trying to drop a hard F 10 minutes in and turn off all of our mom listeners, Auggie. How dare you just go mad explicit right out the gate?
One thing that is interesting, I have this theory, and I talk to my wife about this all the time, is that when boy banders go solo, they have to do the thing when they drop their solo record and have to drop the F-bomb to be like, I'm an adult now. I'm edgy. I'm cool. 2 of the 3 Jonas Brothers did it.
That's
Justin
right.
Timberlake did it. I'm spacing out on a couple, but that's why I always know, like, boy band's going solo. Here goes an F-bomb on the first record. And every time, without fail, it's like, no, I'm an adult now, and I have intercourse with adult women. I'm gonna drop the F-bomb to show you how adult I am.
That's so astute. That's so true.
It's so stupid, but next time it happens, when like if AJR breaks up or something, or what, and the next one, watch when they drop the solo record, be like, yo, Chris Cruz was right. He was right.
Yeah.
We're looking for it now.
AJR is dropping Fs. They're dropping shits and stuff, so they're probably they're pretty close.
Mm-hmm. They're close.
Auggie,
you won't see it until solo time.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready for Jack from AJR to drop the hard F. Let's go. Auggie, take us through Master of Puppets.
Okay, so you talked about this being like the pinnacle boy band album. This was definitely the pinnacle of metal, of thrash metal in particular.
Thrash, yeah.
Metallica dropped this out March 3rd, 1986, and it was recorded in Lars Ulrich's home country of Denmark because they couldn't find a studio that they liked in the United States. So he just said, let's go home. Let's make this happen in my home country.
Nice.
It's 167 on the list of Rolling Stone's 500 greatest albums of all time. When you listen to it, you know why. Like, it's magnificent. It's arranged. It's perfectly tight. Lyrically, very poetic. Has a message. It has everything
Mhm.
that you want, and not only just a great like thrash metal album, but just a great album in general.
Yeah, and the production, man. Like I've been trying to teach myself for the last year or so how to record guitar at home and how to like mix it. I can play guitar, whatever. But like the mixing's the hard part. I don't know, Jordan. I see you got guitars there. If you got into that at all, but
Yep.
man, this is probably my favorite guitar sound of any album ever. I maybe the Black Album, but like it's better than Megadeth. It's better than some of the new stuff from like Gojira and Ghost and In Flames. Like I still love that crunch and that thickness of that rhythm guitar. You know what I mean? You just can't touch it.
It cuts through without
Yeah.
dominating the mix, which is really tough. I have a lot of luck with recording into amplitude. I don't really use my pedals when I record. I just use VST things, and they're mixed down
me
pretty
too.
good. But it's really tough. It's an art form of itself, and that's all just outsource it to, again, someone from Fiverr. Mix my song, please.
Yeah, well, and it's also because they play so tight. Like I watch like concert videos of them. I'm trying to teach myself how to play a song. I'll watch a YouTube video of them, and I'll watch James Hetfield's hand. They play so tight, him and Kirk. Like I don't think anyone else could have made this record because the two of them are just so in sync that it just works. It's so tight production wise, you know.
Let's go.
I didn't even plan that out. I'm sorry.
He understands the link up inherently, though. We respect it. We love to see it.
All right, you have a good day. Have a good rest of the show.
Yeah, see you, dude. All right, get out of here.
Moving on, you know, on a sadder note, I'm gonna bring it up. I'm gonna bring it up, but we're gonna bring it down here for a second because this is reality. During the promo tour for this album, they were in Europe, and bassist Cliff Burton died in a bus accident. Was thrown out the window, passed away. Very sad time in the history of the band.
Just the worst.
I was watching him. There's like a video of him doing like a solo on stage in between songs, you know, and it's not the solo for Master of Puppets. He's just kind of like BSing his way through something and he's just killing it. I knew he was good, but like I didn't know he was that good, you know. And I'm not saying that because he's no longer with us. I'm saying that because it's a fact. He was just like he was like a blues or like a blues bass player on absolute steroids and probably something else. Because he was just so fast and so heavy, but so tight. And I've never seen anybody play like that. I mean, maybe Primus. I don't know, but not a lot of people can do that, man. Not even today.
I love your connection to blues because you know rock has roots in blues, metal has its roots in rock. So these things, it's all a system of just a system of a dissemination of influence. And a lot of great metal and rock songs have a lot of blues theory foundation. So Chris, is he our best guest yet? He might be. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm a huge music snob, dude, and especially metal, because like everyone thinks, you know, oh, you work at Throwback 2K, you're like pop, yeah, and I work at a country station, but like I grew up on metal. That's what I listen to today. That's what I play on my guitar. That's what's on my Spotify playlist almost all the time.
And what's important to know you have to know what pop is. You have to know what it isn't and what's going on around it. Pop is not really as much a sound as much as it is a reaction to things happening around it. Like pop radio nowadays is a lot of hip hop and they're picking and choosing. Whereas, you know, rock has a sound and it grows and then there's a counter reaction to that. And that's where alternative and pop comes in, which is why we're seeing a lot of alt and pop like combinations right now. It's because this is where a lot of experimentation happens.
I haven't heard anybody really articulate it that way, Jordan. That's good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you were a little bit lagged at first, but
yeah. Oh no, yeah. Great articulation of what pop music actually is, because it you know, pop music doesn't really sound the same today as it did 20 years ago. But if you took metal from today and 20 years ago, there's a thread there, but not necessarily so with pop. Because
what's interesting is there's so many pop songs I listen to. Like I love like metal covers of pop songs. I used to do a bunch of covers of country songs, like really hard metal. Like NSYNC Bye Bye Bye, that bump bump. It's 100% a guitar riff, just without the guitar. That bump 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 bump. Like that's a metal riff, you know. But you just take, and a lot of Britney Spears stuff too. A lot of Britney Spears songs to me, like Oops, I Did It Again. Like there's Heavy 3 is another one. They're heavy sounding pop songs, and all you need to do is swipe out that synth with the metal guitar, and that's it, man. It's over.
Even like taking it into the 2010s with Teenage Dream, I was bumping this with my wife on the way home from a restaurant on Friday, like the bam, 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 bam. Like they have like the distorted guitar going crazy, and if you. And all like I'm also a sucker for rock or metal covers of pop songs. It's like it's you don't hate the song, you hate the presentation. I think that's kind of weak.
Yeah.
And that's why this is why this podcast is awesome, because we can just appreciate all types of music. I know I was hating on NSYNC earlier, but like we can
How dare you.
appreciate and I know, right?
Son of a
But
bitch.
we can recognize what is cutting through with this music, and it's a refreshing thing.
I'm glad that you came around, Jordan, because you really came in with the hot takes on NSYNC. You missed it, Chris. He was really going in. He's like, dude, what the fuck? You made me listen to this album, Auggie. Like, what the fuck? Basically, that's what he was saying. And
you two Fs were now rated
hard
R.
F. He went solo.
He went solo.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll get into that. Let's save that for the end. Keep going with Master.
Yeah. Okay. So our old friend, music journalist Robert Kreisgau.
Oh, he's back.
It's time for. He's
no.
back. It's time for spicy critic lines, and Robert Kreisgau again hitting us with the spice. Now, this was from his Kreisgau's record guide that came out in 1990, so 4 years later. He said that the band's energy and political motivations are respectable, but the music evokes cliched images of revolutionary heroes who are male chauvinists too inexperienced to know better.
Interesting.
What say we?
That says more about his. I think again, when we do these spicy critic reviews times, we learn that this says more about the reviewer and their perception of a given audience or a given band than it does about the actual work. So I think this is Robert Kreisgau again making assumptions about the Metallica audience. Whether or not they're valid is a different conversation, but to levy that against the band is unfair, and I don't think has a place in a review on the work.
It feels like a stretch. Like you listen to that album and there's so many different images and imagery that pops up, and I don't see male chauvinist as one of them. It's about war and drugs and death and some other stuff. It's not like about, I don't know. I don't get that.
Yeah. Maybe because the person
he heard, I don't know. He heard Disposable Heroes and thought like they were like being like, let's go to war. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, guys.
Which hot take is the best song on the album. I've always thought that. Always. Battery and Master of Puppets are also perfect songs, but for some reason, Disposable Heroes, I think it's the whole thing because it sounds like what it's about with like the military cadence of the snare and the bass drum. Yep. I think that's probably their best song ever.
Woo! Woo! There he goes.
I like that. It's a great song. I think it's the one I went back to on this album.
Yeah.
I picked out songs and went back to listen to, and that was the first one I went back to. Now moving on, this album, I was trying to interpret this album in a couple of different ways. And for me, I have a couple of different ways that I interpreted it. For me, this album details 7 ways to die. Now, Battery can die in a mosh pit. That was a song, kind of a fan service, like you're the battery that charges us. 2, Master of Puppets, you can die by drug overdose. You can die by Cthulhu, the thing that should not be. You can die by prison, Welcome Home Sanitarium. You can die by war with Disposable Heroes. You can die by religion, Leper Messiah, or at least get dragged down by it. And you can die by climate change. And they critique corporate greed on Damage Inc.
Very reminiscent of the Lady Gaga death and demon imagery that we discussed in our Lady Gaga and Tyler pod. Auggie, did you get that vibe too with that? Like 7 deadly sins, 7 ways to die?
I didn't think that they intentionally did this, but that's how I feel like their intention more was like, these are the puppets that control us. But whether it's religion, whether it's corporate, whether it's drugs, Cthulhu. I mean, that one was kind of, that's like I don't know how that fits, but it does. I don't know where they were. I know that's like a recurring theme in their music. That might just be fiction controlling us. We're controlled by music. We're controlled by movies. We're controlled by TV. That might be it.
That's wild. I've listened to this album probably, at least 100 times front to back. I'm not just saying that for the podcast. I just really like it. I've never had those thoughts. I have to go back to listen again and just listen to it and just sit and listen to it front to back. Cause I haven't done that in years. But man, you just blew the top off there, 5,000. I like that.
Let's go, Auggie. Do you want to just transition right into 5 fun facts about Master of Puppets, and I'll do No Strings Attached?
Let's go.
All
right. Chris probably knows all these since he's a big Metallica fan. Fun fact number 1, in 2015, Master of Puppets became the first metal recording to be selected by the Library of Congress for preservation in the National recording registry for being culturally, historically, and aesthetically significant.
Wow, Barack, so progressive.
Did not know that. I'm 0 for 1.
Yeah. Okay. Well, here's 2. Metallica recorded Master Puppets in the Dark, sort of. We know I talked about them recording it in Denmark. Now, Ulrich, he said, for 3 months, I don't think we saw the daylight because they usually started recording about 7 p.m. and they'd work until 6 a.m. in the morning and then go to sleep while there was a little bit of daylight. Now, when you're that far high up in the latitude or northern latitudes,
Yeah,
that time of year, you're not really getting a lot of sunlight. So didn't see the sun for a few months.
We can hear that.
Oh yeah, it does not sound like a bright, happy record at all. No.
Number 3, they were writing this song. Now they wrote it in a garage in the Bay Area, and I don't know whose garage it was, but they're listening to a lot of Simon and Garfunkel and the Police while writing this album. And when I learned about this, like, it made total sense to me because the melodies are a lot like Message in a Bottle by the Police. Also, Hello Darkness, My Old Friend. You can hear those melodies in a lot of what
That's
Metallica
wild.
does, even outside of this album. Fun fact number 4, James Hetfield has the notes to the bass part in the middle of Orion tattooed on his left arm. He said, for me, Orion was Cliff Barton's swan song.
Jeez, that's
Very
beautiful.
cool.
That
Yeah, I was trying to like
too early.
teach myself Seek and Destroy, which I've been playing on guitar since I was like 12, right? So I can play pretty much the whole rhythm part. I'm trying to teach myself the bass, and I just thought it just mirrored the rhythm part. No, dude, this dude was out in outer space doing his own thing, and it makes no sense on paper, but it works. Like, I'm trying to play it, and I'm playing it literally note for note, going, this sounds like shit. What am I doing wrong? Because it was just him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was an animal.
Fun fact number 5. You want the original cover painting? Well, you got to pay at least $28,000. That's what it went for an auction in 2008. Honestly, that sounds like a fantastic deal. I'm sure it's worth way more than that now.
What's it worth as an NFT?
A non-fungus token.
I need a non-fungus token of Master Puppets art on my digital picture frame ASAP.
Maybe we can get like NFTs of like Metallica during their promo tour or something. Like, can we get that? Can we get that moment?
I think so. We're going to sell them. Like, absolutely not. That's a legal disaster. And Metallica has experience with lawsuits. I don't want to deal with it. Get me out of it.
Yeah, of all the bands you want to mess with in court, Metallica would not be in my top 5 list.
No, it's they got the money for the best lawyers, and their fans will just probably beat you up. And then
R.I.P. Napster.
R.I.P. Napster, which we'll get to.
You sweet old girl.
Let's go 5 fun facts on No Strings Attached. Number 1, the majority of the songs were recorded without the support of a label. They were in between their old label and RCA at the time, which means they were able to freely experiment and have control over what songs made the album. This posed some challenges because some producers were unwilling to work with the group because they were viewed as a rogue entity, and labels would orchestrate the producer and artist.
Hence, No Strings Attached. Okay.
Hence, No Strings Attached. So yeah, that's that. That's I think this era really represents like the worst of record labels. Like, really, like, we're starting to come to light how like manipulative it is. Because nowadays, I'm just saying this because I talked to a lot of record label people. They're really trying to help out the artist and promote. But back then, it was just a gold mine of how much fraud could you commit without getting caught.
Well, especially those guys in Backstreet Boys with Lou. What's his not Lou Ferrigno.
Oh, we'll get into.
That guy played it like a fiddle, man. It was crazy.
Let's get into him. That was my number 4 fun fact, but we'll just put that number 2. No Strings Attached was a play off of the ongoing legal battles between the band and their prior management group, Lou Perlman and Bertelsmann Music Group. The group believed the company was defrauding the group of more than 50% of their profits rather than the agreed upon 1/6. That is a massive disparity. Lou Perlman died in federal prison on 8/19/2016. He was in prison for numerous big-time frauds. He managed NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, Take 5, O-Town, and more, promoting them with investor money and keeping most of the profits for himself in what Heavy.com called a $300 million Ponzi scheme.
It's not what you want. Yeah, you don't want that.
Worse.
You don't. I don't like defrauding artists. Not a good look. Number 3
was crazy. Did you watch that documentary?
No, I didn't. I was too busy this week, and I really freaked out.
I saw it. I saw it a couple of months ago, and honestly, man, like, yeah, he was a complete shitbag. Shout out to Last Bands for producing that. I appreciate you, Lance.
Lance produced it? Oh,
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I thank you for doing the prep on my podcast or on my side that I forgot to do. Thanks, Auggie.
I just be watching docs. You know what I'm saying?
Just watching docs.
Hashtag I be watching docs.
I be watching docs. Get it trending. Number 3, Just Got Paid is a remake of the 1988 Johnny Kemp song. It was even produced by the OG producer, Teddy Riley. Second Teddy Riley reference on the pod. Let's go.
Friday night. Jumping.
That's one of the best songs on the album. I was like, okay, cool. This is the boy band sound. I rock with it. Now, maybe because it was like a remake essentially, but I was rocking with it. Number 4, this album came out during the rise of things like, well, not the rise, probably the popularity of things like LimeWire, Napster, and Kazaa. A bunch of leaked songs made their way onto these peer-to-peer services, but given the whirlwind legal circumstances surrounding the band, these leaks were essentially free promo and generated a lot of hype for what would become No Strings Attached.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's like the complete opposite of Metallica. They were just using it completely different.
Yes.
Metallica's like, fuck you. They're like, hey, go ahead.
Number 5, the album sold 2.4 million records during its first week. Yes, remember we discussed that like 5 minutes ago? That's a lot. And that was a record that held for 15 years. It was broken on November 23rd, 2015. Do we have any guesses as to who broke NSYNC's decade and a half long reign on top of first week sales?
Taylor Swift?
That's a good guess.
Adele.
He looked it up. You looked it up. You'll look her upper. Adele's album 25.
Yeah, I just be knowing.
Also, this
watching
lag
docs.
is the lag. I be watching docs. I be Wikipediaing. Auggie, this lag is killing me, and I'm sorry. So if there's like an odd space, just know I'm waiting for things to catch up.
Yeah, I figured that. I hate the lag too. I wonder if can we kill the lag? Can we like destroy it? Can we Napsterize the lag?
Can we have Metallica
Let's sue it? Let's sue the lag.
Auggie, should we go into gateway drugs? So, Chris, the gateway drug is the bit where we just pick the non-single song that best represents what this album is, and that we would share it. We would show it to an alien, or we'd show it to someone that never heard of the album. But it's more fun.
Okay.
And yours was your gateway drug for Master of Puppets was
Disposable Heroes.
Disposable Heroes.
Absolutely.
Auggie, what's yours? What?
I agree. I had Disposable Heroes as well. I was listening to the song on YouTube and looking at the comments, and one guy said, "This song makes me want to punch my boss with brass knuckles," and I feel like that's what this album's supposed to do.
That's what you want to do to metal. Like, it should inspire that.
Yeah, that's like their first 5 albums, which makes you want to just like murder somebody.
Yeah, that's what you're looking for with that genre. Very wholesome. Mine was kind of tough with No Strings Attached because all the songs had that boy band essence. So I just went for what was my favorite, which would be Space Cowboy featuring Left Eye. One, it's hard to deny the.
I feel like...
Huh?
Oh no, I feel like that's the one. That's the one.
Yeah, it is the one. It's the classic boy band jam. It has the boy band teen pop bass, like that wow, wow, wow. I associate that with the boy band sound. It's cheesy unapologetically, which is always good. I like when artists own what they're doing, and it's like we're not gonna half-ass it. Like, this is what it is. You can either listen to it or not. And I think that's a cool thing. Also, on their No Strings Attached tour, this is the first concert I ever went to with my mom back in 2000. They came down from the ceiling on strings to Space Cowboy, or was it in the middle of the concert? I think it was the beginning. I think they kicked off with Space Cowboy and they descended from Target Center onto the stage, and it was tight.
Oh, it's funny.
Are you embarrassed by that, Jordan?
No, it's awesome. I got to see No Strings Attached, the pinnacle of the boy band era, as my first concert. Let's go.
Judging how you were talking at the beginning of the pod, I felt like there was a little bit of embarrassment, or there was something there. But I'm glad that you're not embarrassed by that, because that's had to have been a fun show.
It was a super fun show. I was with my mom. My sister was supposed to go, but she also signed up for like this international. It was called People to People. It's like an international summer thing for like honor students to go travel and see the world. Nerd Natalie, which
nerd alert.
She was the star athlete. I don't know how she got to do this, but whatever. She got to do it. And she's like, "Oh no, People to People's happening during the NSYNC concert," and like they couldn't back out now. My mom put thousands of dollars towards this trip for my sister, so I got to go to the concert. He's like, "Do you want to go?" I'm like, "Yeah, I guess." And it was a great.
I would have loved to have gone, man. Like I love all that era, man. Britney, Christina, NSYNC, Backstreet Boys. Like I saw Jessica Simpson one time with Ryan
Classic.
Cabrera, which was phenomenal. It was awesome. And I don't know, they're fun. It's good energy. Everyone's happy. There's a lot of parents there with their kids. That's fun. Like, I don't know. It's just a good time. I would have loved to have seen that.
16-year-old me would have hated that shit. I would have like been so angry being there. I would have been pissed off.
What about you now?
Yeah, I would enjoy it. You know what I mean? I think I was turned around on that. I think in like, I don't know, 2007, 2008, I went to go see Beyonce or something. And I'm like, hey, you know what? These pop shows are fun. I'm all.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I saw Beyonce. It's like, of course, like you can't hold everything to that standard, dude. That's very tough.
Like he just snuck it in there. I also saw Beyonce. It's whatever.
Yeah, I saw Beyonce. One of the most iconic. I guess NSYNC is too, but I feel like the Beyonce's on a whole new level from these boy bands, right? Like, oh, I saw one of the most prolific solo artists of all time, and now I'm open to try out these little.
Hey, man, that's what converted me. I mean, shout out to Beyonce. Give her flowers.
Yeah, I don't think any one of us is like denying Beyonce her flowers. I think this is a very pro Beyonce trio.
Let me give you guys a piece of advice.
Yep.
Don't ever say anything bad about Beyonce on the internet.
Yeah.
Just don't. If you have an opinion, don't vocalize it.
Did you do this? This sounds very personal.
No, but I've seen some people crash and burn. I've learned that like I haven't dove enough into Beyonce's newer catalog to like be educated enough to speak on some of it. So I just don't. You know what I mean? It's supposed to be like, this sucks. I don't get it. It's like I haven't spent enough time on it. So I'm not gonna say anything. You know what I mean?
The Lion King soundtrack, Loki, Fuego, she killed it. It's
really,
it's like a bonus Beyonce album. I remember Auggie when it came to the station like the weekend after it came out. I'm like, bro, this album, we're not talking about this album enough. This is legitimately like a surprise.
That's
Beyonce
funny.
album. And it
was good. It was good. It was way better than the movie.
Oh, come on, boo. The movie was fine. It's live action Lion King. It's beat.
We didn't need it. Unnecessary. Was it better?
Yeah.
Did they improve upon the original product?
Okay, well, that's a valid critique, but it's still great and wholesome. It was fun to see that.
I'm gonna be over here where you guys are fighting. I'm nervous. I'm just gonna wait until you're done. I'm uncomfortable.
Oh man, no, Lion King. It was great for what it was. That's all I'm saying. You don't remake something unless you can add to it.
Bro, they added to it. They got Beyonce, Childish Gambino, John Oliver. They got the Fire Whites with John Oliver and
Seth Rogen.
And yeah, they got all they got like the holy trinity of white people to come in and just make that part cool with Beyonce. And
all they needed was Ryan Reynolds, and they'd have all of them.
They would have had all the solid whites.
I'm writing that down. What time is where are we at here in this recording? 44. That was good. That was good, Jordan. Holy
Thank
Trinity
you.
of white people. That's going in a promo video.
Boom. Look at that. We're marketing.
What happened?
All right. One's got to go. So, Chris, this is the bit where Auggie is going to give us 4 things about the periphery of NSYNC's career at the time. We have to decipher which one has to go and impact their career the least. I did not do this for Master of Puppets. I just started a new ad agency job, and I lost track of time. And I'm trying to have a work-life balance. So thank you, Auggie. I'm sorry I let you down. I'll Venmo you $7.
Oh, I'll take it. I wasn't even going to request anything. Yeah, and maybe it would have fell flat if you tried to do it with them, because I don't know. Honestly, that's a tall task.
Well, I figure you spent about a half hour doing this, so like $7, like just shy of half of the desired minimum wage. I'm like, that's fair. That's fair. $7 for half hour.
Yeah, I'll give you $7 Bernie bucks. It's fine. No big deal.
I'll enjoy. All right.
Couple of bones here.
One's got to go. Here we go. 4 things that must disappear from the multiverse, or one of these 4. All right. Number 1, Lou Perlman, the boy band father / con man, never exist, and maybe they don't either. Number 2, Justin Timberlake, famous frontman, one of the most famous faces on planet Earth. Number 3, aforementioned Justin Timberlake's solo career can go away forever. And number 4, it's gonna be May and the memes.
That's a really good one, Auggie. I feel like Lou Perlman has to stay.
100% has to. 100%.
Regrettably, I hate when the shitty one has to stay. JT's solo career, I was like, maybe that can go, but I think his career made the legacy of NSYNC even better, given his success as a result of being that guy. What were numbers 2 and 4?
Two was Justin Timberlake. 3 was his solo career. 4 was It's Gonna Be May and the memes.
I think it's gonna be me. I think it's got to go.
I would have liked to have seen what NSYNC would have done with another 1 or 2 albums under their belt. They got a little bit more adult, a little bit more serious. Like I also love New Kids on the Block. Always have. Had their stuff on cassette when I was a little kid. Love New Kids. And they put out an album a couple of years ago with Neo, and Neo produced it. And they have a song on there called Single. I don't know if you guys have heard it. And it's kind of like sexy R&B. It's kind of like Boner Jams a little bit, but like it's just it's a little bit more serious, you know. But that whole album absolutely slaps front to back.
Boner Jams.
So, dude, the whole album's Boner Jams. It sounds a lot like Nick Jonas's first solo record. It's just like all like just very sexual songs, you know. But they're good. They're well produced. They're interesting. But dude, I would have loved to have seen like 1 or 2 more NSYNC albums where they like just go for it and stop trying to be something and like actually make the music they want to make. I would have loved that, dude.
So you're saying Justin Timberlake's solo career is out of there and they stay together?
He's got so many good songs too, and I love him on like SNL and stuff. I am gonna say that.
The link up, boom. Here we go. We said the rules. We recorded them. Shall we begin? All right, let's see.
New music time, baby.
Nice. Sounds good. Thank you. All right. Am I good to go, Auggie? You want to do your bit or is this it?
Let's go for it.
Let's go.
Yeah, just go for it.
Okay.
This needs a voiceover. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the link up.
I have a copy sheet ready to go eventually.
Please do that. Hold on. Give us something. Give us Auggie versus Jordan. Give us just riff. Go for it.
This week on the link up, Auggie 5000 versus Jordan.
Hey, all right. First link from me. It Makes Me Ill is a song off No Strings Attached. Leper Messiah is a song off Master of Puppets. Leprosy is an illness. Let's go.
Yes. Okay, I like that. I'm happy for you, Jordan. Here we go.
Thank you. Right. I was nervous.
Both bands lost a member around the time of release. Cliff Burton of Metallica, of course, we talked about him before. Also, Lou Perlman of NSYNC, who actually illegally made himself the 6th member so he could get more money.
Nice. You turn that music down a little bit. It's kind of hot, I feel like.
In all fairness, like seriousness, he was as instrumental in NSYNC as Cliff Burton was in Metallica. Like it or not, I know that's kind of a tough pill to swallow, but it is true. So I'll give you that one.
Thank you.
I like it. Okay, foot on the gas. Let's go. Space Cowboy is a song off No Strings Attached. Star-Lord from the Guardians of the Galaxy essentially is a space cowboy, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm glad we're in agreement here. He gets snapped away by Thanos in Avengers Infinity War, thus making him a disposable hero. Track 5. No! Yes!
Awful, dude. No. What is this, Kevin Bacon? No, bro.
Yes! No. That's fire. I was so proud of that one. Damn.
But Kevin Bacon has 2 legs. You know who else has 2 legs? Lou Perlman.
I love it. Jordan.
Sorry, bro.
I appreciate it, but okay. What's my punishment? I'm ready.
Oh, I have to delve out your punishment?
Yes, and also right now, just so you know, I have an outstanding punishment where I have to take a shot of vodka mixed with like broccoli baby food. So you can either add on to my punishment that I have outstanding, or you can have another one on top of it.
Oh boy, can I think about it for a second? Can I like let it stew for a minute? Because I'm not nice when it comes to these kinds of things.
Yeah. Give us a little bit. Think about it while Auggie and I share our other backup links. Does that sound good?
Yeah, I just have. It's like, what can I do that doesn't result in like any kind of police activity or a lawsuit or blood loss? Like that's tough for me.
Yeah, I feel it. Auggie, I have a cat hair. My cat was on my lap, and I inhaled some. So you would say like 2 of yours while I cough it out.
All right, so here's my third one. Both frontmen are Men of the Woods, with James Hetfield living in Vail, Colorado, and Timberlake, of course, with his forgettable 2018 album.
100%.
Tough look for JT. Go on, give me one more while I cough some more.
All right. Both bands sought out Scandinavian producers. Flemming Rasmussen for Metallica and Max Martin for NSYNC.
Yeah, Rasmussen was like sick making those thrash albums back in the day.
Yeah, definitely.
I get some water. There's so much cat hair in my throat right now. So
This music is giving drama to you're choking right now. I love
yeah,
it.
and I'm like turning red because of like my salt lamp and now like my ring light. I'm gonna get some water.
You know what I
Entertain
think the
yourself.
people want to see before you do that for your punishment?
Yeah.
I mean, you do have these guitars sitting around. I think everyone would love to see you play an unplugged song right now and sing along.
Okay,
I think
here we
everyone would love that. And by
Here we
everyone,
go.
I mean me.
I'm grabbing it. This is my punishment.
too.
I'm doing it.
You got at least two
It's
here.
okay. My basement's super cold, so it's gonna be out of tune. Should I just play it out of tune and just go?
Oh,
for
no.
it?
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
Come on.
He wanted to tune it. What kind of show you think this is?
No, this is off the cuff.
Now, I don't want it plugged in. I just want this is gonna be great. This is
Here
what
we
I'm
go.
talking about.
Do you want me to plug into the interface or not?
No, I do
Okay.
not. Nope.
Okay. Can we
I want it to
hear?
be as just
Mic it
like
up,
just
mic it up.
terrible as possible.
I can't really mic it up. Can you hear that?
No, it's even better.
Oh my god.
Yes. Go ahead and sing it.
Also, if you play Wonderwall, I'm leaving right now.
I am. Today is gonna
No,
be the
I'm
day
out.
that
No,
I'm gonna
no.
throw it back to you.
No.
By now, you should have somehow realized what you gotta do. I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do about you now.
I should have just done something with alcohol. This was a terrible idea.
That's so out of tune and gross.
Yes, that was
loved it.
that was the problem. Was the guitar for sure?
Yes, it wasn't my lack of singing voice or anything. Or
No, you
like
sound
the fact that I
beautiful,
have
man. You sound
cat
beautiful.
hair in my. They got my cat hair out. Thank you, Chris. Great punishment that actually benefited the pod.
Not just the hat rack, boys.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, I had some backups here. Let's see. Both Metallica and NSYNC performed at the 2000 MTV Movie Awards. In hindsight, that's very good. I should have gone with that one. My bad.
Much better.
I also had both bands were involved in landmark legal disputes in 2000. Metallica was battling with Napster, and yeah, shit. I was like, I saw the big one. I'm like, let's go for it. And then here's my really bad one. Both albums were released in months that start with the letter M, March and May. That's a good link. Okay. Yeah, fine. All right, let's move on to information. What have we not talked about? What do we need to summarize here, Auggie? I think the true connection of these albums, I think that's a good place to start, is the cutting of the strings, whether it be Lou Perlman or what's Metallica's cutting of strings, more thematic?
They weren't necessarily cutting the strings, but they were definitely telling you that there were strings, that you were
Right.
somehow being manipulated. You're being controlled by whatever your vice is, whatever society wants you to be, or where they want you to be.
Is that why this album has aged so well into the modern era? Besides the fact that it sounds like new metal, or not new metal and new metal, but it just sounds like the center point of what metal is.
Yeah, this album sounds like it could have been put out like in the past 5 years to me.
Right.
It's time.
And it's easy to listen to. It's one thing I've always liked about Metallica. And which if they're using Bob Rock or whoever, it's just again, I was about to aurally pleasing. Like I can't listen to like the Death Magnetic record by Metallica because it's produced very poorly. It's overmodulated in some places. There's a bunch of pop songs too, like I Need a Doctor by Dr. Dre, I'm Coming Home by Puffy. I can't listen to them because they're very fatiguing on your ears, and I think, you guys are audio nerds, you'll get this, but like when you listen to, especially Master of Puppets and especially the Black Album, it doesn't fatigue your ears. You listen to the whole thing and you're not put off subliminally or subconsciously, I should say, or not, because it just sounds good the whole way through. You know what I mean? It's very easy to listen to.
Yeah, that's why we did a podcast on DaBaby a couple weeks ago. And I love DaBaby. I love Rockstar. I love Suge and all that. But the 808 is mixed so harsh and distorted in the mix. That's like I couldn't sit down and do it all in one listen. I had to give myself
Soulja Boy as well was another one. Even like when they like re-recorded an actual single version of Crank That, I was like, I can't listen to this. And it's not because I'm like snooty. I'm like, it doesn't feel good to listen to. That's all.
The U is so loud. I'm like, did you put gain on this?
Yep. I always tell people, like, just put on your best headphones, your amplifier, go listen to Doing It Right by Daft Punk off their most recent album. And then everything else, that to me is like the bar. That's like a perfect, pretty sound. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's definitely, it's what was from the Pink Floyd podcast, Auggie, what was the 4D recording method called? Do you remember what that was called?
Stereophonic recording.
Yes. Yeah, that was just, it's masterful.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're also touching on a similarity of centers of genre, right? NSYNC, No Strings Attached, was the center of that boy band pop sound. Metallica is the center of that metal sound. Is that a fair estimation of the genres we're working in?
I'm going to defer to Chris on this one.
Yeah.
Chris is the expert here.
The thing I was going to take away is that both of these albums in their careers, not to get too nerdy and deep about it, but it was kind of like a cusp of them going in a different direction. Like with Metallica, the first album and the second album, all about being faster than Megadeth. They're trying to compete with Megadeth because they hated each other, trying to be as fast as Slayer and whatever. And then after Master of Puppets, they went more technical and slowed it down, into Justice for All. And especially the Black Album, it was much slower, but much heavier somehow. And then NSYNC, this was when they went from being like we talked about at the beginning, Jordan, you kind of, they said this very eloquently. They were the very cutesy boy band. And they kind of got in this heavier production. And the next album, they went really heavy with the pop production. So that was kind of like a turning point for them as well,
Mm-hmm. Okay. I like it.
Yeah.
Maybe I was oversimplifying these bands, and I'm so sorry, NSYNC and Metallica. I hope both of their stands come for me, because all engagement's good engagement.
Speaking of stands, I got to say that just one of my observations about these two albums together is that both these bands and albums represent the types of people that I didn't really want to associate with in high school.
Interesting.
Yeah, I didn't want to be around like the pop preppy people.
Mhm.
The girls, yes. Like this album was made for the girls, and I acknowledge that, and I wanted to be around them. But I didn't want to have to listen to NSYNC if I was going to hang around with the girls. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Now, so because of that reason, I never gave Metallica a chance until Guitar Hero. And
Hey,
That'll do it.
when I played one on Guitar Hero, I was like, wow, this band is fantastic. They're melodic. When a guy like me, when I think of metal and thrash metal in particular, I'm just thinking about
Right.
and I don't really think about melody, but these guys were really playing with melodies, and it was beautiful. And one is a beautiful song, not on this album, but there's definitely a lot of that thread on this album too. A lot of the melodies on this album are fantastic.
It got much more musical for sure compared to Ride the Lightning and Kill 'Em All.
Two things. Melodies in metal are called metaldies, Auggie. Get with the terminology. Chris, you are my worst enemy right now. And then what I've learned, working at 93X, a station that specializes in all genres of all iterations of rock, metal is a very theoretically savvy genre. They're doing some pretty complicated modulations and playing with some pretty cool accidentals and stuff. So I'm glad that you're able to pick up on that, because it's something that I picked up pretty quickly, going into 93X world and learning about metal, and something that I wasn't really familiar with.
It's wild now, because if you listen to like I'm big into like Periphery, a lot of the Gent stuff now. And I know people shit on Gent, but I like it a lot. It's very technical. What's crazy is Metallica did all those stops without the production. They didn't have Reaper or that kind of stuff back in the 80s, and they recorded that album now. And not to shit on Periphery, because they're phenomenal, but a lot of that sound is because they're doing it in the studio, which I think is amazing. If it sounds good, I don't care how it's created. You know what I mean? But you got to give props to James Hetfield and Kirk Hammett for doing that just with their hands. Like that's,
Yes.
if as a guitar player, that's wild to think, but that's even humanly possible to play that fast, but also that tight and technical. They weren't sloppy, they were tight.
So I have to say this, my sixth fun fact from the bit earlier is that they recorded all the guitars in this. They tuned their guitars down so that on tape they could speed it back up to match with everything else and make it even tighter.
So that's sampling. So any metalheads that are hating on samples in hip hop, your favorite band just recorded their own samples.
So they recorded the whole thing like a couple BPM slower is what you're saying, then pitched it up like a half step or something?
Yeah, they pitched it up, which is crazy.
I'm being very literal. I did not know that. That is so interesting. That should have been fun fact number 1.
Yeah, come on, Auggie.
It explains it, because I've seen them, like I watched some concert footage again on YouTube and stuff, and they do a show in Mexico where it's like a full 360 stage. They're running around playing, and they're doing the riff from Disposable Heroes. And James is doing it with one hand while he's high-fiving the fans and drinking a beer and whatever. And I'm like, I just don't know how that's even humanly possible. But I'll have to go back and listen and see if it's the same pitch and the same tempo as the actual record when they play it live.
Oh, when they're playing it live, I think that, of course they're playing the notes as they should be played.
Right.
I think, but for whatever reason, they wanted to make it tight. And I think Hetfield himself had, or maybe it was Lars. They kind of commented on how it was Lars. It was definitely Lars because he was saying that the one thing that he wishes he could do on that album is not make it sound so tight, because his taste now is I want it to feel a little bit more alive. I want it to feel
Have a groove.
yeah, and have a groove. And there not to say that there wasn't a groove, but it was everything was precise and everything. It was, you know, you talked about this earlier. It's produced extremely.
But with the Black Album they did that because the Black Album is still tight, but it's much thicker. It's fatter. It's much somehow it's heavier. I don't know how it's heavier, but it's not nearly as fast or technical. But it's just as good of an album. But it's definitely got more of that groove to it. You know?
Yeah.
That's so interesting. I didn't know that. That's so cool.
I'm glad to bring that.
Auggie dropping bombs. Bow, bow.
Bow, bow. Do we have a bomb sound?
I think I got an air horn somewhere. No, I don't.
You've been teasing this air horn for weeks. I don't think you actually have it loaded in.
Yeah, but here.
Auggie 5,000.
Okay,
Sorry, that was.
What's that from? Is that from Shut Up and Okay, there we go. Is this the natural end, Auggie and Chris? Is this? I feel like this might be the end of our conversation.
Oh, that felt so unnatural. Are you kidding me?
Did it
That's
really?
natural? Oh, no.
Oh, well, my bad. I figured out.
Let me find something. Here's my DJ drop from 99.
No, I guess the natural end of the conversation, not the end, not a natural end of production, because that definitely was a little bit jarring.
Oh, you know what?
Are we leaving anything on the table, Auggie?
Speaking of production,
Yes.
I want to plug this for Chris. You should definitely follow Chris's YouTube series. And
thank you.
Specifically, I brought up the processing on your mic because you have a video on how to get that punchy radio processing, and you're displaying it now. You want to
right there from the DBX 286S. Yep, it's $200 something, and it is absolutely life changing. And you know, people ask me a lot. They're like, you know, how do you get that sound? And you know, oh my God, it's so expensive. That thing's $220, I think. This microphone I bought when I was in my early 20s, which again, just a couple of years ago. And it's an old Octava large diaphragm mic. It's probably got to be 15 years old. And then I'm running it into the Rodecaster. And I my room treated with acoustic panels, but other than that, that's it, man. So if you got $500, you can have literally the sound of Z100 in New York. You really can.
That's so inspiring. And we've talked about this a little bit throughout the podcast about how the democratization of music and the ability to, you know, have a full studio for under $1,000, given whatever DAW you have and whatever mic you can cop, you can probably get everything set up for $1,000 or like $1,500.
Especially if you're only using software, like for guitars, if you're just using amp sims. I only use amp sims anymore. But like, you know, for keyboards and synths, and you know, you can use MIDI drums that sound phenomenal. You'd never know it's not a real drummer. I know some people shit on that, but I don't care. Like if I want to make a demo at home, I'm not gonna go buy a drum set, bro.
Yeah,
you know,
I'd rather just program it in, and then like, people poo-poo that. I think it's so short-sighted because now they're like, "Oh, the music's worse." Yeah, the worst music is worse. Now the best music is better because now everyone can make it. Everyone has an ability to do it, and like, oh, you make music on a computer.
People poo-pooed Tony from Black Sabbath using distortion. Like, I just don't care, dude. You can poop, like, dude, it's whatever. Then don't listen to it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, okay, you don't like auto-tune, then you can't like guitar pedals by design. If you don't like guitar pedals, you only like acoustic guitar music, then it comes that meme where it's like, oh yeah, I cut down the tree to make the guitar that I'm playing now. I raised the calf to kill it to make the drum heads and stuff.
I got a mean tweet once from it was Portugal the Man when they played, I think it was like the MTV Video Music Awards or the Grammys like 2 years ago. And their whole thing was like no robotic music or whatever, or something like no robotic instruments. Like, I don't know if they were trying to shit on like dubstep or EDM, probably EDM, I'm assuming.
Yeah. Whatever.
And they go and play. This dude's guitar pedal case, was like the size of an actual body coffin. I'm like, you have so many pedals. And I tweeted him and like, I'm like, you guys don't have to shit on them. Like, you're doing the same thing. He's like, oh, it's not so serious, bro. I'm like, but then why say it? Like, you have like 18 effects pedals, but you don't have the robot music. It was stupid.
That's a very astute observation, and I hate to see Portugal the Man get salty like that and then get soft and like immediately like back down like that. Like, stand by it, double down. That's
say it with your chest.
Yeah, say it with your chest. They don't feel it still, I guess.
As I'm on my couch being a real man. Yeah, fuck you guys, me. So you, I'm on Twitter.
Yeah, that's a whole other conversation. But
you said it with your chest, though.
Point. Yeah, but you said it with your chest, and we respect it.
I did. It's a very small chest, but I did say it. Yes.
Yeah, is that the natural end, or am I just forcing
the
natural end? Okay, keep going. Keep going.
Forcing
what am I talking about? Another topic, Auggie. Hit us, or Chris. I'm ready.
No, hey, Chris, you want to plug all your stuff, man?
Yeah, plug
Let
it.
know where they
Plug
can
it,
find you.
plug it, plug
Sure.
it.
Yeah. Thank you guys. So everything that I'm involved with, my couple different radio shows, my YouTube channel, my mix show, I just go to chriscruz.com. It's all there. Hope you get to check it out and follow me. But my biggest thing is if you do follow me or check out my content, like comment so I can find yours as well. Don't just like lurk and just like listen to it. If you're listening, leave a comment or follow me on YouTube, but also comment on the video so I can find your stuff as well. Cause I like sharing and giving people back as opposed to just like, here's my content. Like I want to be a part of the conversation,
Mm-hmm. Oh, you use social media to be social. What a concept.
Imagine that.
Wow. Chris, thank you for hopping on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
I'm Jordan. That's Auggie. We are at the Link Up LP across all social media channels except for Pinterest because we have nothing to offer on Pinterest as of now. Perhaps we'll brainstorm later. Make sure you tell your friends and you tell them to subscribe as well, because if we don't get enough listeners, we will stop doing it. That is our threat. You cannot be stingy. You have to tell people about us.
Yeah, if you like this, support it. Okay.
Support it. Dang it. It's free and we do our best. Damn it.
This costs us money right now. It's costing us actual dollars. We're not making
two
nothing.
forms of currency, time and money. Also, who is our unofficial sponsor for the week, Auggie? This week's podcast is unofficially brought to you by Psycho Susie's Tiki Lounge in Northeast Minneapolis. Psycho Susie's has the most delicious drinks based in rum that you could ever imagine. They're reopening mid-April, and they don't know they're sponsoring the channel, or they're sponsoring the episode, but they are this week. Auggie, your thoughts on Psycho Susie's?
You know what? I've had one of those cocktails that you speak of, and I enjoyed it. It was delicious. Shout out to Psycho Susie's. Make sure you check them out. And the tiki atmosphere. It's not like they tried to make tikis. It's how tiki's supposed to be.
They did it real right, and they got the Polynesian wings. And if you want to ingest 8,000 calories within 90 minutes, psychosusies.com. Make your reservation. Thank you for unofficially sponsoring the pod. That's it. I love you all. Have a great week.
Now that's a natural end, boys.
There it is. Yes.
Woo!